Well, good morning and welcome. I'm glad to have everyone here this morning. It's good to have Sheriff Gary Gulledge here and City Council Member Jimmy Henson. And at this time, I'll ask you to turn your cell phones off, and the marshal will bring up anyone wishing to speak. Thank you, Brian. We are delighted to have Chaplain Tommy Leonard, who's the chaplain over our Paulding County Public Safety, come up and lead us in our invocation and the pledge to the flag. Stand if you're able.
Let's pray together. Father, it's with humble hearts that we approach your throne of grace at this moment. We want to praise you, Lord, for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. You are a loving and merciful God. You are the designer of all things ever made and to be made, and may all the things we do glorify and magnify your holy name. Father, I lift up to you this morning the leaders of our nation, state, and county, praying that our leaders would seek your wise counsel as they lead us. I pray for the upcoming elections as they approach, that you would lead men and women to these positions of major importance. And God, we lift up our military, first responders, and the employees of Paulding County, asking that you protect them each and every day with your mighty power. And Father, I pray that you will continue to find favor in Paulding County. Your word in Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Thank you, Lord, for loving us so much. Please bless this meeting this morning, and it is in the name of the spotless Lamb, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Leonard. And I have to admit, I am already at fault this morning. I didn't call the meeting to order. So Rebecca, our county clerk, and our county administrator won't hit me up the side of the head later. I'd like to call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners work session for February 25th to order. The minutes from the February 11th, 2020 work session are available for review, along with the regular meeting minutes on that same day. Under announcements today and under our Positively Paulding segment, we have some new work from our public information team, the Paulding County Sheriff's Office recruitment video. It's debuting right here before us this morning, and I know we'll have a lot of y'all sign up for duty.
Are you looking for a fast-paced, exciting career that's also rewarding? The Paulding County Sheriff's Office is actively hiring men and women to fill our ranks. Come make a difference where you live.
Being here, being back home was, it's always a good feeling to come back to something familiar. I have friends that work here, people I went to high school with, and they say it's a great environment to work in. And because I got my degree in investigations also, the possibility of upward mobility within the department is also a great thing.
It's still the family atmosphere. I don't ever have to worry about somebody not having my back. I've got all the support that I need. All of the training and equipment that I need. I don't ever have to worry about being ill-prepared for any kind of situation I'm going to face.
I wanted to make the change and come work closer to home, specifically in the community that I live in. I wanted to try and make a difference and serve my my family, my friends. There are a few other places, as far as law enforcement is concerned, a few other agencies where you have so many vast opportunities with so little restriction on capping in your career. In the short time of the 3 years, being able to be promoted to detective, being able to even be considered to be on a SWAT team is almost unheard of anywhere else. The opportunities are endless within our county. We have multiple divisions that can be worked within, and it's just as high as you want to go, as hard as you want to work.
I'm Paulding County Sheriff Gary Gulledge. If you want to make a difference where you live, the Paulding County Sheriff's Office is actively hiring motivated men and women to fill our ranks. For more information, you can visit our website or give us a call at 770-443-3010. Come make a difference in our community.
That's tremendous. Thank you, Jeff Harkins and your team for putting that together and the good makeup job on Sheriff Gulledge. The Board of Commissioners would like to present the Public Safety Appreciation Award to Sergeant Fred Burke with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office to be presented by Sheriff Gulledge.
Stand up there in front of them all. I got a letter, if you would allow me to read. It's for Sergeant Burke from his supervisor. It says they've nominated him for the Public Safety Award. He started with the Sheriff's Office in February of 2008 and was assigned to the Detention Center. He then completed mandate and was assigned to the Patrol Division. Then in 2010, he went back to the Juvenile Investigation Division as a detective. In 2011, he was promoted to sergeant over the Juvenile Investigations. Sergeant Burke currently oversees juvenile investigations and crimes against children. He works for crimes that juveniles commit and crimes against children. He also specializes in gangs and gang crimes. Sergeant Burke works for the Paulding County District Attorney's Office as a witness in gang cases. He holds a separate post certification for arson investigator and serves as a liaison for the FBI Safe Streets Task Force here in Georgia to help eradicate gangs in their community. He works tirelessly to always help the juveniles of Paulding County. He maintains a good relationship with them to help them in times of need and assist them with better choices that they make in life. Sergeant Burke maintains a good working relationship with all of the divisions of the Paulding County Sheriff's Office, as well as other departments, including Dallas Police Department, Hiram Police Department, the Paulding County School System, Department of Juvenile Justice, and the Juvenile Court System. He's a great leader and is always willing to help others with his knowledge. He's always answers questions or responds to any call where his assistance is needed. He's a true team player and assists his supervisor, Lieutenant Kilgore, with all aspects of juvenile investigations and crimes against children's division. Sergeant Burke also continues contacts with the victims' families and always answers their calls when they need help understanding the process or just need someone to listen to them. Sergeant Burke's a true asset to the Sheriff's Office and the citizens of this county, and I want to thank him for his dedication and tireless work, and I'm pleased to nominate him for this award.
Thank you, Sheriff Gulledge.
Also, I'd like to thank Texas Roadhouse. He gives us a dinner for two to give to recipients. Me and you can go eat anytime you want to, Freddie. But
And I'd like to read the citation or the award here. Public Safety Appreciation Award is presented to Sergeant Fred Burke in recognition of outstanding service to his community. It's presented by the Paulding County Board of Commissioners this 25th day of February 2020. Sergeant Burke, we're real proud of you.
This folks is here. If y'all want to come on up, we'll do a picture.
You want one of us to take a picture? You want one of us to take a picture for you? Thank you so much.
Come on, guys. Y'all weren't afraid to come on up.
Don't be
Come on,
shy.
Leonard, don't be shy. I see somebody else here too. Annie, where you at? Everybody seems to be shy. That's different.
Sergeant Burke, would you introduce these fine folks to us?
Yeah, Detective Sean Lipstreet, Starry Kilgore, Lieutenant, my wife, Lillian DeJesus, of course, the sheriff, and Lenny Carr, Sergeant Carr.
Last one up first. Except for me. I got a face ready, but it's my fault.
Before I introduce our speaking invited guest, there's some other guests here that are working very strongly for us to be a team of boards in Paulding County, not just one board, but the required and important boards across the county. Executive Director of the Economic Development Organization is Michael Hughes. Raise your hand, please, Michael. He's got 2 weeks on the job now. And Executive Director Robert Kraus of the Industrial Building Authority. And very delighted to have Miss Stacy Hamby, the Director of the Paulding County Chamber of Commerce, be with us here today, along with her husband.
I'm used to having my own tech team up here. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today to speak about all the great things going on at your Chamber of Commerce. And like before me today, we know great things come together when you form a great team and everybody's a team player. So I want to start by saying I'm extremely proud of my employees at the Chamber of Commerce and all of the wonderful things we've been able to accomplish in 2019. Looking at the 2019 stats, we had a great year of growth with increasing our membership by 177 members, which brought us to a 615 member chamber. We did all that while maintaining a 97.7% membership retention rate, which is definitely an industry high, so I'm extremely proud of that. All while having 48 ribbon cuttings, various programs, attendance up at our Georgia Power Luncheons, and especially proud of the 6 events we accomplished in 2019. Besides our annual awards gala and our golf tournament, and as well as a clay shoot, we were able to focus on community connection and contact in the area of tourism by hosting a Red, White, and Boom fireworks event, the Hiram Christmas tree lighting, and our first ever silver comet ball drop with the City of Dallas. This all led to an extremely wonderful financial year for the Chamber and what I found to be the strongest in the past 14 years that we have on record. Well, just over 3 weeks ago, we did celebrate a great year at our 2020 Annual Awards Gala, and you'll see that we brought in our new chairman, literally, Greg Perry, who will be chairing our Board of Directors this year, and we've told him since that day he has to indeed carry his own weight. Besides being a night of celebration, we definitely look to honor 3 local business leaders and longtime Chamber members that we lost in 2019, recognizing Leola Parker and her family, Keith Davis, and Henry Justice. We also announced our nonprofit of the year as Shepherd's Rest Ministries. Our community partner, Brown and Caldwell. Our business of the year, Greystone Power Corporation. We have our small business of the year, Our Town Magazine, as well as our ambassador of the year, Angie Holland. And of course, we had the Henson Dynamic Duo, and I'm glad to see that they are both here today. Ashley was recognized as our Horizon Award recipient, and very well deserved to recognize Jim Henson as our Citizen of the Year. Congratulations, Jim, and every one of our award recipients. And of course, I took the opportunity to present my first ever President's Award. I did this and called it the LEAP Award based on some leadership, excellence, and positivity when faced adversity over the past year. And Sandy Caker, Commissioner Caker, congratulations on receiving that award. As well as for the first time, we heard a chairman's message from your very own chairman, Dave Carmichael, to spotlight the positivity going on throughout all of Paulding. As we kicked off 2020, I wanted to reach out and look at the past 20 chairmen and women that we have had, and 14 were able to attend that night. And I believe Jason Phillips is hiding somewhere in the back. So thank you for the long-term support. It's so great to see so many are still active and involved with our chamber. We also recognize 20 of our longest-standing members. Some of them actually have had chamber memberships for as long as 25 years. So we recognize them as well that evening. And of course, it was our first opportunity to recognize publicly our full entire 2020 Board of Directors. We are a 26-member board. That includes an executive committee, as well as 18 voting members and 8 ex officio members. And thank you so much, Chairman Carmichael, for serving in an ex officio capacity with your Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to point out that most chambers our size, especially with the number of staff that we have, they usually run between 5 to 8 programs a month. And I'm extremely proud to announce that we have 11 different programs and committees that we run monthly at your Chamber of Commerce. And I'm going to take an opportunity to review a few of those today and encourage you getting involved or learning more about what we do. One of our programs is an Empowering Women Committee. This is a quarterly leadership development featuring 2 educational workshops, a day-long leadership conference, as well as a Give Miss kickoff event. The Give Miss is an opportunity for you to give back to your community. We take collections to support our area nonprofits and provide needed supplies for families and children in our own community. So anybody that would like to be a part of that give back, please contact the chamber. And I also encourage you to register to attend our leadership conference on May 19th. You can attend if you are a man. However, we don't have many take up on that option, but of course it's encouraged. Our first event for Empowering Women was actually held 2 weeks ago, and I was so proud because we had over 50 women in attendance come together. Another important program of the Chamber is our Government Affairs Committee. We work very hard at the local, state, and federal level to build relationships with our local officials, legislators, and congressmen. This group also works extremely hard to form local, state, and federal legislative agendas that we do present, and those are based on the needs and concerns of our businesses. And in addition to these monthly programs, we do things such as take part in the State Eggs and Issues Breakfast. We host a legislative wrap-up session annually each fall. We also host a legislative kickoff day, which was on January 6th this year. And of course, the big thing that this committee does is host its annual DC Fly-In. This is a great opportunity for a small group to meet one-on-one pretty much with your U.S. congressmen and senators in a very private setting to go over that legislative agenda that is drafted, as well as discuss any open concerns or needs for our community. I do want to point out that we do not endorse anybody running for public office, yet we do support the importance of getting to know the candidates as well as making sure you vote. Another great program that we do is workforce development, and I think if you ask anybody what draws a new business to your area, they're going to definitely mention workforce. So we're excited to bring together and partner with the school district, the Paulding College and Career Academy, Kennesaw State University, Georgia Highlands College, Chattahoochee Technical College, the business community, and other leaders to draw together to develop a qualified workforce through collaborations, leaderships, and training opportunities. I should have worn my glasses. Some of the things that we do in team effort, of course, is host the different activities for our students, and those include things such as our High Demand Career Day, reality fairs, shadow days, as well as different expos. I'm also proud to say that I am a founding board member of the College Career Academy, as well as the Chamber takes the initiative to recognize students of the quarters with gift cards as part of that program. We are also pleased as your Chamber of Commerce to support the Star Student Scholarship Program. And it's a wonderful thing when you have 5 high schools, but you award multiple scholarships to each. So in 2019, we awarded 7 scholarships, and just a few weeks ago for 2020, we actually recognized 8 students as part of the Star Student Program and awarded them. Of course, a huge initiative of any chamber is a buy local program, so we created one called Grow Paulding Buy Local. This is a great program that supports the importance. It's the easy and convenience buying things online, but it's very, very important that you don't forget your local businesses. So we do recognize, in collaboration with this program, a Small Business of the Month, so we've already selected 2 this year. But we also host an event called Power Up Paulding, which allows our local small businesses to invite chamber members in to their locations to learn more about them. And of course, it was a dear, dear pleasure not only to hire Michael Hughes, but to have him here with us today as our new EDO director. And the chamber was actually able to host a welcome reception before he started in late January. So congratulations, Michael. We look forward to many great things coming to Paulding. Of course, one last thing I have to mention is, of course, our Leadership Paulding. Many of you have been through this. It is an amazing opportunity to take part in 9 monthly programs and a community project. And I definitely want to say that I felt like last year's class, Leadership Paulding 29, best class ever, if anybody was in that class in here, they chose their class project to be a monument that's actually right here at Veterans Park, and I encourage you to come out and take a look at it. But it's entitled Land of the Free Because of the Brave, and it definitely stands to recognize and respect local residents who served our nation in the armed forces. It's actually 4 lighted panels that are 3-dimensional, and if you haven't had a chance to go out there and see it, it's incredible. So I invite you out there to take a look. And this year is our LP30 class. It's our largest class ever with 29 participants. The county is well represented in this class. Thank you so much for that. And they look forward to graduation, which I believe is coming up May 7th, coming up first Thursday in May. Of course, we always look forward to things that are coming up, and our next big event with your chamber will be our BLD Golf Classic on April 22nd. Please call the chamber. You do not have to be a member to participate. We love having the community come out and join our business leaders and community for this event. And then I also want to mention that I'm excited that the Regional Business Coalition, a board that I sit on, is coming to visit us in June. This past fall, I actually organized a chamber board of directors as well as the school district to come out and tour the reservoir. And you can see that one of your very own county employees had the best photo bomb with a leap from the side. So I had to include that picture today. But I was so impressed by that tour and how amazing that is for our community that I submitted it as a project, which was indeed chosen. So we definitely look forward to all the regional leaders as part of that business coalition to be coming out to visit our reservoir in June. And of course, I definitely want to thank each and every one of you for your support of your Chamber of Commerce. It's definitely an honor to have you at the supportive level as a Chairman's Club member. Want to thank you so much for everything you do for our community and how excited I am that you include myself and the Chamber as part of Team Paulding. Thank you.
We appreciate that, Stacy. It keeps not only the Board of Commissioners up to speed, but the audience and anybody who's going to watch on Channel 23. So we very much appreciate having you. And Terry Tibbetts, who spoke last month, put the bar up pretty high for Robert Krause, who will be reporting on the Industrial Building Authority in March. Right, Robert? Okay, the bid awards start out being hosted by Ms. Pollard and Mr. Jones. Number 1 is the award of the fiscal year 2020 roadway side cutting and trimming maintenance project to the lowest responsible bidder, Lovin Contracting, in the amount of $49,959.70. It's located in Post 4.
The first 2 are DOT, so do you mind going ahead and reading DOT, the second one, and I'll address the 2, and then George can have
Sure.
both of them, if that's okay.
So the second one is to award the Costco Signal Project bid number 20022 2019-1508 to the lowest responsive bidder, Reedwick LLC, in the amount of $119,360.
Okay, so number one, we had a bid that went out, and in response to that bid, we had 4 participants, and we have recently, we've used Levin in the past, and so they've come recommended by DOT. And in number 2, you had approved a Costco intersection improvement, which included a signal, and this will be part of that award. And within this signal, we had quite a few participants. We had 6 bidders for that project as well, so very competitive.
Morning.
Morning.
We'll go over the side cutting contract first. Like Tabitha said, we've used Lovin in the past. This was used to be part of our mowing contract, the actual side cutting. It was a line item. There were no specifications actually in that contract, so we decided to actually write a separate contract with specifications, bidding it out separately in an effort to hopefully attract more interest and get more people, because it was a smaller amount of money. We've added a few things in terms of specifications, trying to get a higher cut, also cleaning up after themselves. There's a little bit more work involved than the previous contract. Another thing, the old contract was in hours. This contract is in mileage, so we feel this is a better way for us to track the work getting done. I think it's fair to the contractor also. This number that we got was 15% higher than our 2013 bids, but we knew there was going to be an increase anyways, just due to the fact of inflation since 2013 and the additional demand for these services. We used Lovin in the past, like past 6-7 years for this work, and like I said, we've generally been very satisfied with them, so we recommend going forward with this bid item.
Any questions on that item?
When are they going to start?
Basically, as soon as we, have an NTP, meet with them, have a pre-construction, they can start. If it stops raining, of course, that would probably help too.
What going up Gold Mine? Yesterday I was going up through there, and I noticed somebody's already cut the sides of the going up through there. But it wasn't them, so I don't know who that was. But I had a citizen reach out, which is, that's not my post, it's Sandy's post, but just to thank.
We've also, we do a little bit internally, but some of those roads like Gold Mine and stuff, we're looking at putting together a contract. It's like a vertical contract. It goes from the ground straight to the sky. Some roads like that are Dallas Ackworth or even Dallas Nebo, where the trees have grown so far over the roadway. Some of these places are almost in shade in areas, and it's a problem, especially in winter conditions. If you get ice or snow, it'll take like 3 days for that to melt off because the sun doesn't hit it. So we're looking at put together that type of a contract, a certain number of roads this year. So we'll become before you at some point with that.
Thank
you. The next was the Costco traffic signal. The Georgia Department of Transportation approved the installation of a traffic signal last year based on the anticipated future development trips that would be going to Costco. As y'all know, the Board of Commissioners at the October 22nd, 2019 board meeting approved entering into a development agreement with Costco to fund public infrastructure improvements. Part of that was a traffic signal. We had allocated about $175,000 towards that. That was the number we thought we could do that. The bids, as Tabitha said, the bids for this project were opened on the 14th. There were 6 bidders, and the low estimate was Reedwick in the amount of $119,360. So my estimate was about 120, 125, so they fit within that pretty well. We haven't used Reedwick in the past, but we've used folks who actually started Reedwick. We used that contractor in the past and have had generally very good results with them. So we have experience working with those folks, and recommend going forward. The county, we are providing the traffic signal poles for this installation, so that's an additional cost of $14,600. So at this time, we're about $133,960 in for this project, so we're under our $175,000 estimate.
George, what's the time frame on that light installation, and how will traffic on 120 be impacted during the installation?
With our amended development agreement with Costco, we were supposed to have this installation complete by February 1st, 2021. I don't believe there's going to be too much in terms of the traffic signal, impacting the traffic on 120. Obviously, when they're putting in the poles, doing the wiring, there's going to be some bucket trucks out there doing that type of work, but we'll have work zones set up and make sure it's safe enough for the workers and also to allow traffic to flow through in a reasonable manner. And we don't want to do any type of lane closures, obviously, during peak hours, so we'll avoid that.
Thank you.
Any others? Thanks so much, George.
Thank you.
Bid award number 3 is award the purchase of wireless access points for the Adult Detention and Law Enforcement Center to the lowest responsible bidder, PCS, in the amount of $89,060.40, of course located in Post 2.
This will provide the wireless access points, so the Wi-Fi capability. They had originally not included maybe enough access points, so this is a little bit more than what they had originally intended. A portion of this will be funded from the FF&E, and the overage amount will be funded from the general fund balance. So it was very competitive. PCS held a state contract, and CDW also held a state contract. One was a co-op and one was a regular state contract. And just to check the pricing, they went out to 2 additional bidders, so we received 4 bids for this, and so it's been very competitively bid.
Since we throw around a lot of acronyms, you explain to the audience the FF&E?
Furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So when we built the building, we had a construction contract, and then we had a furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and that's all the small ancillary things that we've brought back to you over the past 3 months. It's been pretty heavy, and it's beginning to wind down, thank goodness.
Any questions on bid award number 3? Okay, we're excited to have a report for the end of the year 2019 from the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Gary Gulledge, to come back forward and to talk about the updates and statistics.
Good morning again. Thank y'all for allowing us the time to do this. I know you got a lot going on, so I'll try to make mine quick as possible. Go off, I guess, on my own for just a second, if you would, for the video. I thank y'all for showing that, and I'd also like to thank Austin, Jeff, and Felicia for their hard work into it. Ashley and Karen and all the folks that's from our office that was in the video. I think they done a tremendous job. If you watch it and they make me look good, you know they know what they're doing. So I have a face for radio, and they made it look real good, and I appreciate all y'all's hard work, Felicia. I got the year-end report for the last year of 2019. I'll try to go through this quick. If you have any questions at the end, I'll give all of y'all a book. All of our numbers are in it. Brian, yours has pictures in it because I know you and Chuck don't read real well, so I got y'all a special book made. During 2019, the Sheriff's Office patrolled 2,878,905 miles. We arrested a total of 3,487, issued 2,358 traffic citations. We handled 61,373 complaints. High volume calls, as always, we have a bunch of alarms. We had 5,500 alarms, 2,893 domestic disputes, 1,685 lockouts. We served 6,978 subpoenas and civil papers. We handled 5,544 suspicious incidents, persons, and vehicles. We had 2,441 theft by taking, burglaries, and entering autos. I'd be remiss if somebody watches this show and if you don't listen to anything else I say, please remove your valuable from your vehicles and lock your cars, or throw all the $3 worth of junk in your garage and put your $80,000 car inside. It would help us out tremendously. Our guys performed 7,981 traffic stops. We arrested 38 DUIs. We had 3,330 warrants cleared. We conducted 834 zone patrols. We had 1,791 juvenile incident reports. 541 of those cases was assigned, and 581 was charged. The detention center stays busy as always. We booked in 3,621 and had an average daily population of right at 240 inmates per day. I got it out. I know y'all got a lot to do, so enjoy your colored book, Brian.
Thanks so much, Sheriff Gulledge, for bringing us that update. Next is citizens wishing to speak on agenda items, and Mr. Wayne McCauley is going to speak on agenda item number 14, which is the resolution about the Second Amendment, Sanctuary County. Mr. McCauley, thank you for speaking.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning. I know y'all have seen me at this little podium before, and I wasn't very nice. But this time, this resolution, or this 14, I hope that y'all will make this county a Second Amendment sanctuary county. It's happening all around us. They're trying so hard to take our gun rights from us every way we turn. If we all stand together, the counties around us as sanctuary counties, Second Amendment, this county, we stand a better chance of keeping our weapons to protect ourselves and our families and our county, our stores. Even we have a better chance of helping out Gary's men if they need help. So I would like to ask y'all to approve this. And I'm not standing up here to try to be no bad guy or nothing. But we need our rights kept in place like they are in the Constitution. And Mr. Carmichael, you know yourself, you took the same oath I did when you stepped into the uniform of the military to protect the Constitution of the United States against all foreign and domestic enemies. I see it as anybody coming against us to want to take our weapons, to me they're a domestic enemy. I don't care if it's even our own government. They're a domestic enemy when they're trying to take our rights away from us. So I ask that y'all will approve this, and y'all may not see me again for a few years, who knows? But I just felt when I read this that I had to come up and speak my piece on it. And that's what I'm here to do this morning. And I'm going to step out of the room and y'all will do the rest of your business. And thank you much for listening to me.
Thank you, Wayne. If you do stick around, I need to talk with you about an issue. But it can be any time in the next week or so. Just
okay.
Thank you.
I got a grandson I got to pick up from school, so.
Okay, I understand. Under the consent agenda is consideration of the following items. Number 4 is the Paulding County Sheriff's Office request to retire the service pistol Glock 21 TYN 930 to Corporal John Rich upon his resignation from the Sheriff's Office. Corporal Rich meets the requirement of a minimum of 15 aggregate years of service with the Sheriff's Office. Number 5 is to accept the donation of an exclusive sanitary sewer easement from Greystone Power for the East Hiram Sanitary Sewer Project in Post 3. And number 6 is to authorize the chairman to sign the contract with the North Georgia Amateur Association to provide officials, umpires, for competitive recreational sports. Number 7 is to reappoint Don Benson to the Region 1 DBH-DD Mental Health, Development Disabilities, and Addictive Diseases Advisory Council with a term ending December 31st, 2022. Number 8 is to approve the renaming of a portion of the Chester Harris Drive to just Chestnut Drive. That's in Post 4. And number 9 is to declare the following 11 items listed on the surplus and to approve their disposal through auction or trade, and that list of 11 items is on the back table. Number 10 is to declare the following item as surplus and approve donation to the Airport Authority. The truck comes from the DOT. It's Truck Unit 98. It's a 2003 Ford F-150. The serial number, and I have to read this, is 2FTRF18233CA46758. Would anyone like to move any of these consent agenda items to regular business? We have no old business. Under new business, number 11 is to discuss action to authorize the chairman to sign the Second Amendment to the lease agreement with Regions Bank for a 5-year period beginning on January the 15th, 2021. Mr. Greene, Operations Manager, to report.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to present this item. Everyone is aware we have a Regions Bank branch, very nice branch in downtown Dallas. I'm not sure everyone is aware that it is actually a county-owned building. The county bought that, I believe, from Regions in 2000. So for 20 years now, Regions has been a tenant in that building. We have done various renewals of the agreement with them. This is to come before you and recommend a renewal for a 5-year term, actually beginning next January. This is something they want to do very early so that they could have some certainty in their planning. If they were to not renew the agreement and reach terms with us, then they would have to start looking for another branch, and that would take, a year or more. So this is coming to you well in advance. Regions has accepted the lease renewal with an increase to $13.20 a square foot. That's do the math, that's increasing from $65,000 a year to $78,000 a year for year one of the agreement. And then in this agreement, we're going to have an escalation of 3% per year for the 5-year term. So we'll top out at about $88,000. So it's a significant increase reflecting the market. Last time we had an agreement with them, it was 2015, and the rates were a good bit lower. So this is just to adjust us to the market rate. All of their terms are basically the same as the previous renewals. And I want to let you know, I do appreciate the assistance from various members of the commission in advising us on this property. Tabitha and Jason have worked closely on it as well. We've also reached out to real estate professionals on the best handling of this, both the rate and the future of the property, which we continue to look at as we have an economic development office. We also have fire admin in the lower level, and we have some vacant space that we're going to have to plan for as we move forward. So that's an opportunity coming for us. We'll bring that back to you later. I appreciate any thoughts on that in the future. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
New business 12 is discuss action authorize the chairman to sign the lease agreement with American Tower Company to extend the cell tower lease for 150 County Services Lane until January the 19th, 2060.
It's quite a long way out. This is a cell tower that we currently have at the on the landfill property, and we have equipment on that tower. So over time, we had a lease several years ago that was paying in funds as we've added equipment to that tower. Though in that original contract, the amount went down for our portion of what we had on there. So we've reached out. They have wanted to extend this lease. These leases are long-term because of the cell tower market. If they can't, if their investment's not going to be long-term, then maybe the investment doesn't need to be made. So they reach out for many years, which is why this goes out to 2060. This current renewal, well, currently we're not receiving any rent, again, for that facility. This will establish some rent because we have quite a few carriers located on that facility, and they will pay $80,000 for a signing bonus, and then in 2025 we'll begin this new portion, and they'll pay $3,000 a month with a 3% escalator, and they will also pay 25% revenue share for any additional carriers that locate on that cell tower.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, if I can add one additional component. Through this negotiation project, the county has utilized the services of Mr. Ryan Fender with, I think he's a consultant with ACCG, and one of his areas of expertise is cell tower lease negotiations. So I want to let you know we've got somebody working on it that actually handles these with regularity.
Dave, it's worth mentioning, I know that looking at numbers 11 and 12 here with a longer term lease, I know it's typically governments enter into 1-year agreements. Maybe Jason could just, I know it's being done the right way, but if you could just clarify for anybody watching and wondering how the longer term leases work.
Thank you, Ron. State law, as you identified, typically requires a 1-year renewable lease. However, when a county government or city government is dealing with something that is part of what they call their proprietary function, more along the lines of when you're in the private marketplace, as opposed to pure governmental services, the 1-year limitation does not apply.
Thank you very much. And Commissioner Stover, when that expires, you'll be 100. New business 13 is discuss action to adopt resolution 20-08 amending the ACCG defined benefit plan for Paulding County employees, establishing eligibility criteria and an enhanced early retirement plan design for certain public safety employees. Mr. Acker.
Morning.
Morning.
Before I get too much into this, I certainly want to recognize we've got a guest here from ACCG, Robert Kim, who's our representative with our defined benefit plan. And in the event that you adopt this, Mr. Kim will be out here over the next few months helping roll this out, having employee meetings to discuss all this, make sure folks understand what it means to them. Also have Cale Hodges, who isn't here with us today, but between the two of them, over the last year or so, we've had a lot of meetings. They've run about 40, 50 scenarios, probably more. And we've given a lot of consideration to this issue that brings us here today. And as you read, we basically have our resolution and the adopting amendment for this. We have certified, whether it's Sheriff's Department employees, detention employees, 911, fire employees, that we're looking at an enhanced early retirement plan for them. In order to help pay for that, there is going to be a mandatory 4% contribution, and that has been discussed with their employees. That's not necessarily news to them today. That will help pay for it. We're looking at an effective date of April 1st. We also have the nature of the formula is rule of 80, where the earliest retirement age under this without any reduction in benefit would be 59. So the age plus the years of service getting you to 80 would allow for an early retirement that's unreduced. There's still options for early retirement if you don't meet the formula, but it may be reduced depending on what the age is and the years of service. I said I got Mr. Kim here to answer any questions. If you got any questions of him or I'd be glad to try and answer them. You've got your backup material, and I know you're all intimately familiar with it. So,
Thank you very much, Brian. And any questions? Also, our county attorney is going to highlight some of the resolution. It's pretty lengthy, but you want to hit the highlights for us? Oh, okay. Okay. Different agenda item. Any questions, remarks about the public safety opportunity here? I know I've worked on it a long time, and I'm very excited to have that option for, we've had the recruiting video, and we very much need to be successful in that recruiting effort, and this will have an effect on that.
Now, Chairman, I'm thankful to Brian and his staff, and I'm thankful to ACCG and the way they've done some work on this, but I'm also thankful to all of our public safety, especially our chief and sheriff and all of them, because when they came to the table, they had an idea of a need, and there was a lot of compromise, but I'm thankful that, they were able to compromise and we were able to find that right year. We had to figure some things out, some things had to be changed, and I think the end product is a great place to start. I believe this resolution, I hope the board supports it.
Thanks, Chuck. Others? All right, let's move on then to new business number 14 is discuss action to adopt resolution 20-09, a resolution recognizing Paulding County, Georgia as a second amendment sanctuary county. And Mr. Phillips is going to lift that up for us.
Commissioners, if you'll recall, a couple months, maybe several weeks ago, there was a national debate that began to occur out of the state of Virginia regarding its General Assembly and their state General Assembly trying to place some severe limitations on certain firearms. That obviously caught some national attention. It caught the attention of several folks here in Georgia. And as a result of that attempt, Habersham County led the way in Georgia of declaring itself to be what is referred to as a Second Amendment sanctuary county. Several of y'all as commissioners brought this to my attention and asked me to take a look at it. And so what I've done here is I've drafted a resolution that will declare Paulding County as a Second Amendment sanctuary county. And I want to just hit some of the highlights of why this is. Habersham was the first county. There have been several other counties that have also done this. Whenever anybody talks about the Constitution, they just start throwing out the numbers of amendments. And I think it's important to actually read what the amendment says. The Second Amendment says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that was the directive of the founders, that when it comes to the right to keep and bear arms, the government should not infringe that right. The Georgia Constitution has a very similar corresponding provision. The resolution that's in front of you reaffirms Paulding County's resolve to protect that right against unlawful interference against the Second Amendment right as well as the corresponding right in the Georgia Constitution. The resolution states that Paulding County government shall take no action that unlawfully infringes on a citizen's right to keep and bear arms. And that is the essence of the resolution. Be happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Jason, very much. Number 15, discuss action to approve the ordinance 20-02, amending the Paulding County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66, Sewers, Section 66-127, regarding a sewer connection requirement. Ms. Ashmore to report the.
Thank you, Chairman. Section 66-127 of the Code of Ordinances addresses mandatory connection to the sewer system. And the current section allows the director to exempt developments in the Coppermine Basin, but not in the Pumpkin Vine and the Sweetwater Basins. That exemption is if it's deemed to be in the best interest of the county. So any development in the Sweetwater or Pumpkin Vine Basin that wishes to be exempted from the mandatory connection must go through a development waiver review process. And that process itself can take up to 2 months for that application and to get through that development waiver review. The water system is presenting this proposed amendment in an attempt to be able to expedite development approvals in the Pumpkin Vine and Sweetwater basins, just by granting the same authority to the director in those basins as we currently have in the Coppermine Basin. The Water and Sewer Advisory Board reviewed this proposed amendment last week at its meeting and recommends approval. The amendment itself is a very simple one. It merely deletes the terms within the Coppermine WRF basin, opening that up to all of our sewer basins.
Questions? Thank you, Laurie. New business number 16, discuss action to approve contract for employee benefit plan consulting services. And our county administrator, Mr. Frank Baker, to report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is simply an action item to approve a broker that will assist us in moving forward with the renewal for the health care for our employees this year, and the brokerage firm would be NFP. So that's simply it. Just a contract with the broker for those services.
Great, thank you. New business number 17 is discuss action to adopt resolution 20-10 requesting that state legislation would authorize the creation of a state court in Paulding County, and Mr. Baker and County Attorney Mr. Phillips to report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm really excited to be able to present this request for a resolution to ask the state legislature to create a state court here in Paulding County. Being over in our Superior Court for quite some time and having a history in court services, I can tell you that state courts are extremely important. They have concurrent jurisdiction with our Superior Court. With the population that we have, and I believe Mr. Phillips is probably going to, I know he's done a little bit of research on that, he may touch on this, but the population that we have and the number of cases going through our system, it is more efficient and effective to have a state court because there are a large portion of the Superior Court caseload right now are misdemeanor cases, and that's what we're talking about, are misdemeanor cases that could be handled more efficiently and effectively and allow Superior Court to be more efficient in their handling of the felony cases. One thing I do want to emphasize to the board that this request and from the board, if the board approves it, this resolution, I want to make one thing very, very plain and clear, and this is not to create a new court building. I just don't want it to be misleading. It's not to create a state court building. It's actually to create a new court within the existing system that we have. So it will be housed in our current courthouse. So I don't want anybody to think that it's a request to build a new structure. We definitely don't need that. It can be held within our own courthouse where we have our probate court and magistrate court, and we have our current Superior Court. But this simply is something that's been needed for some time, and it will not only effectively help our citizens that come in to do business in our county court, but it will help the Superior Court to move their business too. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Would you like to add?
Yes, sir, if I may. I started out 24 years ago as an Assistant Solicitor General in the State Court of Augusta, Richmond County. And so that was my first experience with the Georgia court system. And so I worked for a state court, and the essence there is that when we all know, when you look at our Superior Court handles, at least at this time, all felonies, all misdemeanors in terms of the trial. It handles all divorces. Your Superior Court is primarily filled with cases of that type. So what the creation of a state court would do would be to take those misdemeanor crimes, which are not combined with another felony, but move all of those cases into a state court. That's going to be your batteries, your simple batteries, your DUIs, and then it would also take all the traffic cases, which are currently being handled by the probate court, and moving that traffic docket into a state court docket. So it will create more flexibility inside the Superior Court docket and more flexibility inside the probate court docket, consolidating them there in one place. It is a situation where it will have to be funded by county dollars. However, as far as populations go in the Atlanta metro area, my quick numbers showed that Paulding County was the 10th largest county in this area by population. Out of the 14 largest counties by population in the metro Atlanta area, we are the only county without a state court.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add just one thing to Mr. Phillips.
Please.
Just to give a good analogy, if there's a plea calendar being held right now, a Superior Court judge could be handling a felony plea, and the next case could be a case that's bound over from our probate court, which could be a traffic case. And so that's not a really good, efficient way to handle things. So that's just an analogy, kind of a broad stroke analogy of what we're looking at there. So it's really putting the cases where they need to be, especially with the size of county that we have. And coming from a state court environment, I was state court director in Cobb for a number of years. And I can tell you that it's extremely efficient to use that court for your misdemeanor cases.
I'll add in, if I could, Dave, that this isn't just the board requesting this. There's been work done by the members of the General Assembly. I want to thank them, specifically Representative Gulledge, who reached out to me about the possibility, and it's been a little while now, but kick-starting that conversation. So appreciate their leadership. As we grow, we're going to need to make some changes and do some things differently to accommodate a large population. I think this is one of those things. So appreciate the leadership from the General Assembly on that as well.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add one thing, I appreciate it. I see Police Chief Joe Duvall in the back, and I appreciate you working with us on it from the Police Chief from Dallas. Thank you, Joe, for being here today and talking with us on this. And this has been something that we have been working on for quite some time. And it's just not something that's happened, but it's been going on for quite some time. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments, and I know since I've been in this seat that we've been talking about it at least that long, and it's an area that we're in the legal system. We're just playing a little catch up here, so look forward to us getting on the same plane with a lot of other forward-moving counties. I'd like to thank Ms. Stacy Hamby again for her report and Sheriff Gulledge for his update. That is a conclusion of our regular business. We've added to the agenda just couple of minutes if one of the post commissioners or myself would like to make any announcements, tell us it's their birthday or whatever.
Everybody looks down at me. Paulding gets to go first. I don't have any announcements today, but I know that everybody's excited that Major League Baseball's back in spring training, and I'll go ahead and be the first one to jump out on a limb here and predict the Atlanta Braves as the 2020 World Champions. And we will not have a commission meeting if they have a home game that night. I can tell you that right now. We are going to move that date.
You taking bets, Ron?
No.
You got anything, Sandy?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the board. We've worked very hard to get some of these on the agenda today. I know Frank, Brian, Chuck, Ron, and even Jason took the time to, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to say it. I don't know everything, but he took the time to explain state court to me. So I want to thank Jason for that.
You're welcome. I don't have anything else.
It's not an announcement, but I would like for everybody to stand up who has anything to do with public safety. I'd just like to recognize them. I just want to thank them for what they do. A lot of times these are some bright individuals. They could go out and they could probably do something more lucrative, but they chose to do what they do, and I appreciate them, and I think we're indebted to them, and I want to thank them.
Mr. Stover?
Well, in dog years, I'll be 100 at the end of that lease. But, or county government years, y'all added to my life. No, I just want to say, I ran for a reason. I wanted to help Paulding. And a meeting today, I feel like we have some things on the agenda that's really going to make a difference, and I'm really proud to be part of it. So thank y'all for being, I know, we talk about Team Paulding, but, I'm very prideful to be here today. So thank the citizens for voting for me.
So we have no public participation on non-agenda items, and we have no need today for executive session. So would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
And I'll second that.
Okay, on a motion and a second to adjourn, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we stand adjourned.